Take a 1600s. Interesting having Dondozo and Ursaluna. Oh, that's still a 2/2/2 because Whimsicott Archaludon is definitely a 2 because you can beat up your Archaludon. I like Spectre as a lead here a lot. In fact, Ogerpon and Spectre is a pretty solid lead, I would say. Definitely Chien-Pao. And I'm inclined towards the Primarina purely because of that Ursaluna. I shall do so. Might have been worth going Great Tusk, actually, because I'm intending to just taunt a Cresselia if it's a Cresselia. But then it's just going to be Mental Herb, and we'll be in Trick Room anyway. That's a cool trainer card. That's not the lead I expected. So I think what I'll do here is I'll Will-O-Wisp and I'll Superpower. And that covers most things that can happen this turn. If they switched immediately to Tatsugiri, then assumedly this Dondozo is burnt. And if they just attack the Archaludon, then they go down to like 0%. Or like 1%. Because Superpower doesn't quite KO. And if they use their Terror immediately to be able to not take 95%, then that should be alright. Okay, it's this way around, so I'm hopefully getting a Superpower into the Archaludon. I mean, I am, but, you know. There was no Terror, that's the key thing. Because next turn I can taunt the Cresselia and Snarl. And that should KO the Archaludon based on this damage. What? That should do 90. What am I missing? Is this like a body press one? Like pure Iron Defense body press? That's not what I expected. Now, don't you dare be Mental Herb on Cresselia. No one runs taunt. But, of course, this is the GC. Anything can happen. And everything that can go wrong will go wrong. In this case, Mental Herb Cresselia. Or Ally Switch, you know, that's a thing as well. Doesn't matter. Like, really doesn't matter. Because now you don't get your Reflect. Yep, Ally Switch is definitely a thing. Not really sure why that was the play there. Go for Reflect. Nice. That's hilarious. Right, so assumedly my Shadow Ball and Ivy Cudgel will now just KO this Cresselia, right? So which is more likely? Them terroring the Cresselia to survive, or them being Mental Herb? I mean, Shadow Ball and Taunt would cover for both. It wouldn't cover for Terror and also Mental Herb, but I'm playing a little bit safe here. Probably shouldn't. Okay, yeah, if it's Citrus Berry as well, because I'm -1 from Superpower, so I don't think I would KO'd it. If they're Mental Herb, that's quite annoying. They are not Mental Herb. Here's the Steel Beam again. That's the second Steel Beam Archaludon that I faced. What? That did nothing. That I faced in the GC. I mean, I guess this is supposed to get screens and just KO itself, so that's fair enough. But this is looking quite comfortable at this point. Because they either have Ursaluna and then the Dondozo is kind of useless, or they have Tatsugiri and then I just click Will-O-Wisp. Ideally connect and just win. But it is Ursaluna, so their Dondozo is useless. They are taunted on their Cresselia. And I got Primarina and Chien-Pao waiting in the back, so... Like, I can just Snarl and Ivy Cudgel the Cresselia on this turn, right? And if they... No, they can't ally switch, so... This is to cover the Dondozo switch in. It doesn't really matter. This covers the Dondozo switch in. Because the Ursaluna's not a threat on this first turn. It's not burned yet. And they use their Terror, so that's good. Because if it's Ghost, they're weak to Shadow Ball now. Is that Dragon? That looks really weird with Dragon. Like, the Dragon Path's almost like stuck in his back almost. It's quite funny. I mean, you stay weak to Ice, so I'm fine with that with the Chien-Pao. And that's just a KO. That's funny. And this shouldn't... No, I superpowered, so it should KO. But that's better for me, because now I can just double into this Cresselia with a Shadow Ball and an Ice Spinner, and there is nothing they can do now. Because even if they ally switch, then the Shadow Ball and Ice Spinner is definitely KOing Ursaluna. So Shadow Ball, Ice Spinner, Cresselia, and I'm sorted. Come on, just accept your fate. You're pinned. Ally Switch doesn't save you. It might have done if they didn't Terror, because then the Ice Spinner probably doesn't KO and Shadow Ball into an immunity. But this is definitely... No, actually, no, they got Reflect, haven't they? Doesn't matter. So yeah, they have Reflect and the Dondozo still drop. No, they didn't have Reflect. They didn't have Reflect, because I taunted. They had Light Screen. It was a very smart taunt from me. Calling the ally switch perfectly is exactly what I was doing. Cool. Take that. That was pretty straightforward. Oh, I'm back in the 1600s. Nice. And that's the 1600s guy. And another Dondozo. With Ting-Lu, though, that usually implies it's Yawn, Dondozo, and Sandtomb Ting-Lu. Looks like they probably want to just screens up, right? Ogerpon as a lead is decent here. They're entirely physical apart from the Tatsugiri, so spamming Breaking Swipe is a pretty decent thing to do. In fact, I might actually go with Gouging Fire and Primarina here. Although also spamming Will-O-Wisp is decent. So I might go Spectria. And then Ogerpon and Chien-Pao in the back. Yeah, I don't think I need Primarina. Yeah, should be fine. It'll take a little while to KO the Grimmsnarl. So maybe I'm opening myself to just leave it on the field and get Thunderwave spammed. That's not a cool training card. And it is Grimmsnarl and Ting-Lu, so... This is incredibly passive from them. Could Howl and switch to Chien-Pao immediately. Would be the worst thing. But then no, because then Gouging Fire would take a decent chunk from a ground move. So instead I will Breaking Swipe and Will-O-Wisp the Ting-Lu. The screens don't really matter in this early stage. Should maybe be concerned with Fissure, because that bypasses all these attack drops. Connect with the Will-O-Wisp is nice. And it is just Sand Tomb, so it will chip away at me. And they're lefties, okay, that makes sense. So I think here I will Howl and switch to Chien-Pao now. If they Spirit Break on this turn, that's a little bit sad. But Chien-Pao can't be Thunder Wave, which is pretty sweet. I would assume it's Reflect on this turn. Bit late for that. Should have done that on the first turn. Do not care about that in the slightest. That's good. Assumingly this is Sand Tomb into the Chien-Pao slot. Oh, Ruination. Okay, that's also pretty reasonable to be fair. So I think I will just go for the Heat Crash and Ice Spinner into the... Yeah, an Ice Spinner will get rid of the Misty Terrain, so that's pretty decent. So yeah, Heat Crash and Ice Spinner. And if they Reflect, probably still KO them, right? Because the +1 with both cancels out the Reflect. And even if I don't, then I'll just get them next turn. Because they only have Spirit Break left, right? Because they got Misty Terrain as their 4th move slot. Oh yeah, it's gone. And Heavy Slam can't get the Chien-Pao, right? Because they're burned and -1. Just Ruination again, that's fine. And if this is just Dondozo Tatsugiri in the back, then just getting a single Breaking Swipe off would be very good. But it's Iron Hands, okay. Interesting. So this has got to be a setup Iron Hands, right? So I'm inclined to just attack. I will just attack. And if they fake out the Gouging Fire, that's incredibly brave. But did call it correctly. Assumedly this is a Swords Dance or a Belly Drum. Be surprised if it's just a straight up Drain Punch. That's put it to half, so that's good. Ruination again is fine. And there we go. I can still play Pokemon somewhat, it would seem. Am I in range? I am in range. How many more? I'm just bound completely, aren't I? Yeah. But then that disappears if the Ting-Lu disappears. So I'm going to Breaking Swipe, and I'm going to... Hold on. Were they Clear Amulet? They were. Okay. That's alright, yeah. I'm going to Breaking Swipe, and I'm going to KO the Ting-Lu on this turn. This is good. Yep, this is definitely very good. Because this is hopefully going to KO the Ting-Lu. That's got to, right? Like, +1 cancels the Reflect. And then this will free up my Gouging Fire. Nice. It's got to be Chien-Pao in the back. Like so. So they can only do one good thing here. So I will Heat Crash here. What was it? Ogerpon and... yeah. I'm going to double the Chien-Pao, I think. They used their Terra yet? They haven't, have they? I'm going to double the Chien-Pao. And if they Terra Ghost here, oh no. Terra Dark. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, let's just like punch. It's alright. Let's get my Heat Crash into you. And then this turn I can go for... so I'm going to lose my... my Gouging Fire here. Going for Burning Bulwark would have probably been the correct play there, actually, because then I'd have burned the Iron Hands without having to risk the 85% accuracy now. So I can just go for Terra, outspeed the Chien-Pao. Sucker Punch won't get me. And let's try and burn this Iron Hands. Might have been worth considering doubling into the Iron Hands, because a Ivy Cudgel helped out by the Sword of Ruin and a Shadow Ball should get the Iron Hands from here. But if they Sucker Punch the Spectria, then that goes completely wrong. I don't expect they will, because, you know, you've seen Will-O-Wisp. If anything, it would be Sucker Punching the Ogerpon. So I probably could have got away with that play. This opens me up to missing Will-O-Wisp. And then that could steal the game for them. Protect Chien-Pao, dodge Will-O-Wisp, Drain Punch, KO, Ogerpon would be game losing. I mean, Protect Chien-Pao anyway is going to be pretty bad. But they didn't, so I'm feeling reasonably confident. And I think I do have the game for sure if Will-O-Wisp connects. Okay, cool. That should be mine then. Because I, like, maybe Drain Punch critical hit will KO the Ogerpon? No, it wouldn't have done. So, yeah, just needed to connect with the Will-O-Wisp there and I was fine. So here, do I need Spiky Shield at all? How many turns of... Last turn of Light Screen, okay. Yeah, I just attack. If I activated my... I haven't, because I haven't Snarled. Nah, 2 Shadow Balls is stronger than a Snarl into a +1 Shadow Ball. Yeah, this should probably end the game on this turn. Actually, no, because they're going to Drain Punch Recovery, aren't they? That's fair enough. But now the light screen's gone with the burn chip as well. Yeah, it's in range. There's the light screen gone, so therefore Shadow Ball and win. Nice. And that was the 1600s guy, right? I think. So we'll take that for sure. Now I'm back comfortably in the 1600s, which is good. The nice thing is that I'm not going to be able to play the second GC, because I'll be in Utrecht instead. So I only have to deal with one more of these after this is done. Another Dondozo. What's going on? But it's Glimmora and Dondozo, so not the most ideal. Alright, so... Great Tusk as a lead is pretty decent here. I think the Gouging Fire Great Tusk is actually pretty strong. Chien-Pao Ogerpon in the back, right? That seems decent enough to me. Got no ground resist, so I can just headlong rush everything. Right, no, they've got a ground resist, it's Ogerpon. But then I can breaking swipe that, and that'll be alright. And I can also just close combat the Ogerpon if I want. Breaking swipe and close combat might be close to a KO. That's a cool trainer card. What was that kind of palette? It is Glimmora Entei. So that's not the worst, given my Great Tusk lead. I am inclined to headlong rush and heat crash the Glimmora. Because you can't afford to spiky shield here, right? Because I could just headlong rush KO the Entei. So I am going to double into this Glimmora with heat crash to cover for a defensive terror. Worst case here is that they Sacred Fire burn my Great Tusk. Like, Spiky Shield and Sacred Fire burn, but then I can still do exactly the same play and I still get a KO into the Glimmora. I am just accepting the Toxic Spikes. But I think I have to. Oh, they did Spiky Shield. Fair enough. I didn't think you could, because I could have just gone straight for the Entei, but fine. And of course they're going to Sacred Fire burn me as well. Huh. That's not what I expected. Now, speed-wise, it's going to be awkward. I will attempt to do the same thing. But that was not an ideal first turn. Headlong Rush into Entei was probably immediately game-winning. But they got me good with that Bulldoze. Assume my Gouging Fire still outspeeds the Entei. Like, ideally, they do Terra into Grass, Heat Crash KOs the Glimmora, and Headlong Rush redirects into Entei. That would be the most ideal thing to happen. But they don't, so we'll have to see the speed interactions. They Bulldoze themselves, they probably KO themselves. They'd have to be timid to outspeed my Great Tusk. So I'm hoping they're not. Okay, cool. So they're a pretty slow Entei too. I'll take it. We're in basically the same position as I expected to be in turn 1, except they've got a Bulldoze and also one of these attacks coming out from the Entei. It was a Sacred Fire. Okay. No burn. Thank you. Okay. It's going to be coming, so... And then assumedly Dondozo. What did I have? Ogerpon and Chien-Pao, right? So I'm still looking okay. If I manage to get a Breaking Swipe off somehow, then that's pretty sweet. I'm going to Headlong Rush into the Entei because if they switch Tatsugiri, Great Tusk is going down to Earthquake anyway. And then I think I Burning Bulwark on this turn. Or is it better to get the paid switch into both Chien-Pao and Ogerpon on the same turn? Because then I can go for Terra Ivy Cudgel and Ice Spinner. Yeah, I'm going to go for that instead. Because I got to win quickly with the poisons. They stayed in, so I get my Breaking Swipe. I'm happy with that. I'm glad I didn't Burning Bulwark. I mean, I won't be if they Wave Crash. Burning Bulwark would have been super clutch and very nice. But I'll take the attack drop. Yeah, they substituted. So, getting the Breaking Swipe on it this early is good. But them having sub with the poison is not ideal for winning quickly. I'm going to go Chien-Pao, I think. We've seen that my Gouging Fire is still faster than their Entei, so they're not Jolly Max. Would they Extreme Speed on this turn? I wouldn't have thought so. But we're just always in this awkward 50-50 of Dondozo having Tatsugiri or not. I'm going to go for not the switch. It's just 50-50. If I get it wrong, you can't do anything. It's just do they switch or don't they switch. There's no real logic. It's just a mind game. Can't do anything about it. I'd be surprised if I see Extreme Speed. Sacred Fire is surely the play if you stay in with Entei. Okay, so I can still somewhat play Pokemon. But this has to be able to KO. Probably should have Terra'd with the Chien-Pao, actually, because this is probably not KOing, right? Oh, it is! With a crit! The crit is clutch. Because Breaking Swipe is helped by Sword of Ruin now, so that's good. Take that for sure. Alright, so definitely still in this then. And they're only +1. The Toxic is absolutely helping them, but this is still very much doable. That was a lucky crit. I wouldn't have KO'd without the crit, and I lost my Chien-Pao. So we take those. Now, I don't think a +1 Wave Crash can KO my Chien-Pao. +2 definitely does. I don't think +1 does. Oh no, I've taken Toxic chip, haven't I? Tiny bit. So I'd like to Sacred Sword and Breaking Swipe. I am faster as well, that's good to know. And that should KO the sub. It didn't KO the sub. Well, that's not ideal. What? No! No! Come on! Like I've said, it's always worst case. It's always the worst case it could be. Like, yeah, I could have Terra Electricked. And then I'd be able to Terra Blast and break the sub, and then Breaking Swipe hits it. But it's always worst case. Just in case they are not unaware, they're always protecting this turn. Like, if you attack this turn, you're not playing Dondozo correctly. You got lefties. There's no punish for me. Although, to be fair, no, actually, no, I take that back. If they are oblivious, then they should attack here in case I predict them to go for Protect and go for Howl. So, you know, doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, I can still somewhat play the game. Now, I don't think how much is base power of Heat Crash? It won't be much, right? Because Dondozo's heavy. Oh, it's 60 base power. So if I'm covering a Terra Grass or anything, it doesn't really work. They will simply forget that they can click Terra. And I will crit the Ivy Cudgel. And I'll Heat Crash to cover for a defensive terror, but it won't do much. Assumingly it's going to be grass. It's fairy, okay. So Breaking Swipe would have been bad. But here's just another crit. Just steal the game immediately with the Ivy Cudgel. That did absolutely nothing. They're clearly max defense for the body press. Big damage. Nice and tickled. And yeah, they sub again. And they are unaware, so there's no point howling. That would have done way more if they weren't unaware. We just get through the protect turn. I think I'm going to play for them, like, they should win here, but I'm going to play for them messing up and attacking the Gouging Fire. But you should always attack the Ogerpon, and if you do, you win. Therefore, I have to play as if they're not going to. Like, this might look silly because they're going to just body press my Ogerpon, but this is the correct play to try and win the game. Because if they just body press Ogerpon, there is nothing I can do. There was the crit. Should have done that earlier. Ogerpon. Yeah. There you go. Just got cut something caught in my mouth there. So yeah, the body press Ogerpon is just a win. So nothing I can do in this situation. And as I've said previously, you can probably tell I've just completely mentally clocked out of this GC. Like, I hate the GC. It's good content. Would have been nice to get some championship points, but, you know, GC does GC things. How many more do I have? I think it's 9, isn't it? So I guess that's 3 more episodes at least. But yeah, you can probably tell at this point I hate the GC.